Look at this delightful vehicle. 2008 single cab Holden Colorado. Nice big dent in the factory Holden alloy bull bar. In fact, I haven't found a panel yet that doesn't have dents on it. They're not major, but yeah, the interior is a bit of a mess of disgusting plastics and uncleanliness. The door handle, as you can probably tell, doesn't work. The mirror is held on with duct tape. The tray rattles sort of like a baby rattler. It's unbelievable. In fact, I think this stupid... Awesome. However, I bought it for very little money, and what it does have is that. That's a 4JJ1 3-litre turbo diesel, 4-cylinder turbo diesel. Very well known for big horsepower, especially in places like Thailand, and they're starting to get a bit of traction here, and we're going to help that. We're going to have a bit of a fiddle with this one over the coming months. Obviously we will start out with a good service, would be my first point of call. Also cleaning the thing up a little bit. Obviously I'll get a new mirror, door handle, tidy it up, take the ladder racks off, tidy the tray up, do all that sort of stuff. You never know, I might get excited and put a set of wheels on it. But then certainly going to be turning my attention to this baby. Obviously we'll put a UniChip on it, we'll put a big exhaust on, we'll start with that, see where we get, and then we'll go straight into turbo upgrades, injectors, etc. We'll see what we can squeeze out of the old girl. Well, it's not even old, it's 2009 I think, this particular vehicle, so it's only 8 years old. It's, look, it's a typical tradie vehicle, which is fine, nothing against tradies. The bull bar will definitely be going. Look, I think this is going to be an interesting little car. I'm going to start off by servicing it. Well, how's that for an improvement? Looks much better. So it's all serviced. To be honest, it was certainly not overdue. According to the sticker, it was due for a service about 5,000 Ks ago. It was quite good, other than the fuel filter, which was just absolutely horrendous. But also, look, no ladder rack. No ladder rack, no ladder rack, no tray sides. Mainly no tray sides because the tray itself was absolutely junk. Everything was broken, snapped, bent, as you can see by the tie-down rails even there. So for now it's going to stay like that. Thinking about some wheels and tyres, but for now, much better. Time to make some more power. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Time to make some power.
Alrighty, so here we have the standard exhaust and the exhaust that's about to go onto the Colorado. Look, it didn't take us too long to get off for the most part. Obviously you can see there's a huge difference in pipe diameter between the two. Yeah, look, the hardest part was definitely getting this bit off. The cap and the dump pipe bit, just those bolts off the turbo are a little bit tricky to get to. Not the end of the world, just a little bit fiddly. So yeah, look, even just holding that up next to it, you can see huge size difference in it. Obviously, you're going to be jamming more boost through it. There will probably be another turbo on it at some point. Look, that exhaust is going to flow more than we need, I think. So we'll slap it all back on and see how it goes. Right, so here we are, fitting the exhaust to the Colorado. Here's our wonderful end piece. We've got a centre section sort of going in there. But up here is where we've hit our, I was going to say slight snag, but it's kind of like a major roadblock. So when you try to put the dump pipe on, the flange hits the chassis rail there and basically doesn't allow you to get anywhere near where you need to be. So we're just in the middle of tossing up how we're going to rectify this situation. Because once we've got that bolted on, we then need to bolt in the next section, which didn't really fit either.
Yeah, all of this is going to be modified.
Yeah.
And we don't have Steve here, so it's going to be me and Kyle powering through the welding. But yeah, look, could be worse. We could have made the entire exhaust ourselves. That would have been much worse. At least here we have a terrible base to start with.
Yep.
Alright, well, the car's back down on the ground for hopefully what will be the final time during this particular exhaust fitment. A lot of cutting, a lot of welding, a lot of angles, a lot of cutting off flanges. However, we now have the entire exhaust in and a tip sticking out the back. We haven't started it yet, we just, Kyle just performed his magic to get the EGT probe in. So I'm going to drop this, roll it backwards slightly and start it. Right. Here we have Kyle just finishing off the loom for the UniChips. Obviously not being a plug and play on the Colorado, or the RC Colorado. Obviously has to tap into all the factory ECU outputs and inputs. So he's just finishing that off now. Ready to mount the actual ECU, the UniChip units. And then all we have to do is run an ignition and a power and probably an illumination wire to a EGT gauge in the cab. We'll get it on the dyno.
Alrighty, so UniChips are installed. Just temporarily for the time being. I'm going to change a couple of little bits and pieces and probably just clean up the install a little bit. Damien is just finishing up putting the EGT gauge in. What was that?
I said yes, indeed I am.
Indeed you are. Yeah, so that's basically so you can keep an eye on the EGTs while you're flying around everywhere. So yeah, we'll put it on the dyno and see how it goes.
Alright, we have the Colorado on the dyno. Obviously UniChip's fitted. What I'm doing at the moment, I've got this intake pipe off, which just goes from the inlet manifold, well, from the intercooler to the inlet manifold. Also contains the map sensor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tap a hole just here, right there, for a boost fitting so that we can read positive boost pressure. There's plenty of vacuum lines on the motor, but no boost reference lines that are easy to access. So I'm going to pop one right there, because obviously this car is going to be on the dyno a fair bit. So it'll be worth our while. This is just hard plastic, so I'm just going to bash a hole in it and hope for the best, really. See how we go. Alright, so here we are inside the Colorado. Just warming up now. We've got our EGT gauge going. Just going to do, just check a few things. I'm going to do a power run in each mode, just as it's shipped, which, I'll be honest, is actually normally relatively close. But we'll see how we go, and then once I've done those initial runs, I'm going to start actually tuning the vehicle, both steady state and wide open throttle, to see what we can achieve. Let's do it. Alright, so as you saw, we've literally just run it out of the box, and not too bad, pretty good gains. We've got a long way to go, so I'm going to start tuning. Well, I finished my tuning on our Stay Tuned Colorado. All I can say is I understand the hype around these 4JJ1 Isuzu motors now, because with no other modifications other than a 3-inch exhaust, we just made 154 kilowatts at the wheels with an otherwise standard Colorado. I mean, look, orange is your standard run. Look at the power difference. You know, we're picking up at 2400 RPM. You're picking up 60 kilowatts at the wheels. Same as your torque. As you can see over here, standard you're making about 280 newton meters of torque. Tuned, almost 500 newton meters of torque. We're talking almost double the factory torque. Well, 2/3. Yeah, a bit speechless, to be honest. I think she might drive a little better now. And the only reason I stopped at 153.8 kilowatts is I'm completely out of fuel, so out of injectors. So this may or may not get a lift pump, as well as some plus 30% injector tips, as well as a new turbo. It'll be interesting to see what we can get out of it.